at so many different jobs like sales and stuff like that. But alongside all of that, I was always doing art. We all might have talent from the day we're born. It's our responsibility to nourish the talent. If you really put your mind into it, like, you can do it.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Entrepreneur TV. Now, have you got a talent that you would like to turn into a business? I tell you, this lady I have in today, Krystyna, she has talent by the bucket loads. I'm slightly envious because, it will blow your mind. She has a company called Nova Art, and you wait till you hear this story. It is so good. Krystyna, thank you so much for coming in all the way from London. But wow, where did your love of art begin?
Well, so, I've been doing art pretty much since I was a child. So I feel like, perhaps everyone has a little bit of talent, like a little talent seed that we, perhaps are, born with. So, I was sort of nourishing it. I really like to paint, to do creative things. And sort of when I was about 15 and I was sort of about to finish school and sort of, really think about what am I going to do on my exams and what university I'm going to go to, like what course I want to do. I had to think about, what kind of skills do I have? What do I like to do? But also what is going to be, sort of beneficial for my future? Like what kind of job do I want to do? Like where I would feel very comfortable. So I sort of, I was looking at so many different sort of drawing, like architectural schools, because I guess I decided that, architecture would be the one to go. I was always pretty good with sort of painting, with sort of perspective, with sort of looking and understanding the three-dimensional world like around me. And to be fair, I feel like my mom, or my parents, but I guess my mom more, helped me a lot. She was always very conscious with her parenting, and she would, she was never sort of pressuring me to do anything certain, but she would rather like look at me and, sort of feel where I would feel comfortable and good in. So she was like, okay, so I feel like, architecture would be good for you. And, it's sort of a career perhaps that would, bring you some sort of good income in the future. You have to be stable and stuff like that. So yeah, so I did, I was doing like my exams. I was from a very young age, I was, really like exhibiting my work, my paintings at so many different like art shows, like little art exhibitions. And then at the age of 15, for 3 years, I was sort of going to like a private architectural drawing school. So I was actually, obviously I'm from Poland. I was born in Poland and I used to live in a quite small town. So I have to actually travel every Saturday. Like I would have to wake up like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to travel, get on a train, travel to the architectural like drawing school in Warsaw.
Wow.
Yeah, in capital, obviously capital of Poland. And then, I would sort of do my courses there, like my work, I would have my lessons there. And the cool thing about and I really loved the whole, like the whole journey of being in the school, because it was my passion, but I was in a very, very nice community of people that loved doing loved painting and drawing and stuff like that. So it was like a very, very good like vibe for me. Like we would, because obviously, I was just a teenage girl, like, and I obviously I couldn't really, because, it was already like a very good, like very big financial decision for my parents to make for me to go to a different city every week to a private drawing school, like for 3 years. So, in the school was great. Like we were sort of, sleeping, on the mats, like from Saturday to Sunday, would have like a night drawing sort of sessions. It was so good. And although, some people will say to me like, oh, like, it was so hard, like to travel, like literally like have school from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Plus like I was doing a lot of art clubs. But it was so enjoyable for me to travel by myself and do something by myself and do something that I love, that I just, like 3 years, I enjoyed that a lot. And then obviously after, I sort of graduated from like a high school in Poland, I came to the UK to study architecture. Again, the journey was great. But while I was sort of studying, obviously worked at so many different jobs like sales and stuff like that. But alongside all of that, I was always doing art. Like I was always painting, and I would always, even when I was working, like in the in sales, like in different high street or like high street or like luxury stores, like and I was just selling a lot of like items and everything. I would all the goods, like I would just like, because it was so like it was my passion, like everyone around me would know that I do art, and that I would always be like,
you was known for it.
Yeah, I was really known for it. And everyone, like I had colleagues or like even clients from that I was selling clothes to, like ordering my paintings and stuff like that, because I was just like you, I mean, like you can see when someone loves
what they do,
yeah, and that they're really good at it. So I was really blessed to have people around me that would see the passion that I have, and they would trust me. So yeah.
I think one word I could describe you, dedicated.
Yeah.
I look at you and I just hear that story there.
Yeah.
And, for young people nowadays, they seem to have lost their way. They don't feel as dedicated. They're not wanting to get up at 5 a.m. and put the graft in, Krystyna. They want it all handed on a plate.
Yeah.
Do you think those early formative years of having this routine and putting in that graft has now helped you in business?
Like, for sure. I feel like that's another thing that also, I'm also kind of very sad about in my life. Something that my parents taught me a lot, and something that I'm trying to teach to my son as well, is that we all might have talent from the day we're born, but it's up to us to be like, it's our responsibility to nourish the talent. It's our responsibility to sort of become a better person and craft what we've been giving from the beginning. So yeah, like for sure, discipline, like accountability, like taking responsibility for everything that I do since I was a teenager. I was a very young girl. It was very, I feel like, part of my personality, and I felt comfortable with it. I feel like maybe partially could be my character. I'm a little bit of a like an old soul, but yeah, so I was never sort of stepping through, like I was never really trying like so hard to to discipline myself, and like I was never crossing any lines, and like so it was more natural to me.
So obviously there became a crossover from where you're doing this work, and then in stepped this art. Nova art. I mean, I'm just gonna hold up a few pieces, because what Krystyna does is go to weddings, and she can even paint live whilst the bride and groom are there. And we've got some more here. I mean, some really big ones that we're going to show in close detail. I am blown away, because I tell you something, that takes a real nerve. How do you hold it together whilst you're painting at a venue live?
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of pressure that people wouldn't perhaps realize, for example, booking a live wedding painter. But like I've never, any, like a lot of situations that I've been through so many situations that I've been through, like it was always quite easy for me to deal with whatever challenges like would come my way. Like I was never really like in any sort of projects that I've done, because once I graduated, I became an architect, and I've done a lot of interior design sort of projects after that, and I've been sort of leading some of the interior design or like interior design projects within like residential, commercial sectors. Like I've never, like I feel like it's just my, like the way I am, like whatever comes my way, I'll be like, okay, like how can I solve it? Like there's always resolution to any situation. And I can say that with confidence, because so many things that I had to learn that I've done in my life for the first time, I always came out of it. So there's always like resolution to it. And then
you can handle pressure. really well?
I guess you can say that I can handle pressure in quite well.
Would you say also though that you are confident in what you do, because you clearly are, because you know what you're doing when it
Yeah.
comes to art? I mean, you asked me to paint a donkey and it'd end up looking like a cow. It's like that. It's just not my skill set. So
Yeah.
do you feel like you've honed this craft since being a child, so that you have therefore got those skills and you're transferring them to your work?
I feel like that helps for sure. The fact that I was constantly working and sort of improving my painting skills, like in so many different areas. And the fact that I just have that mindset in my life that, if you put a work into something, if you really put your mind into it, like you can do it. It's a different story. I feel like when you try your best and something doesn't work out,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's just not meant for you. But when you see yourself growing, like developing, like I have like this art, like I had like this art exhibition happening there. I had like this. I had like more and more clients, and I've done so many different like art projects before I even started life wedding painting about 4 years ago. I've been doing like custom handbags, like custom luxury goods, custom sneakers. I've been doing murals. So I've been like trying so many different things, but it was all within this art sector.
Yeah.
And obviously life wedding painting worked out the best for me. And, it's something that I really, really enjoy. So,
I mean, one thing I noticed is
yeah.
that you do a lot of these beautiful Indian weddings. I mean,
Mm,
what a treat for one. I've always wanted to go to an Indian wedding, because I mean, they are just on another level.
yeah.
But the colour
No.
and, the whole theatre of it all. Is that something that like blew you away?
Yeah, so I guess, I was, because, when I came to London, I sort of saw a lot of, like very multicultural, communities, different religions, different cultures. And although I lived in Poland, where, community is pretty much quite, like, I mean, the country is quite closed off in terms of, it's not as international as, for example, London is, or UK in general. But it was very interesting to me. And I've always been so open to know, like, to
Yeah.
like getting to know so many different cultures, religions. I feel like I can find, so many, I can look like I can find so many values in each culture, in each religion, like something that, perhaps is beneficial to my life. And I find it's just so interesting. I feel
Yeah.
like, there's no like there's no difference between, like, I feel like we're all human beings, and like
Yeah.
we just have like different ways of living this life. And it's not necessarily better or worse, like it's not necessarily like worse or better, it's just different.
I think as well, one of the lovely things that comes across is your personality.
It's
And
good.
you really do have to have a good
Yeah.
personality to do this type of work.
Yeah.
How do you settle the bride and groom down? Do you have meetings with them beforehand to say what you're going to do?
Yeah. So, obviously when I was starting about 4 years ago, I had to sort of start from, like listing, making a listing on Etsy and stuff like that. And then, people would sort of be interested, like get interested in, whatever I was presenting, the work, they would reach out to me. And then, but obviously nowadays I would say half and half of my sort of bookings from social media, which is very big these days, like Instagram,
Yeah.
TikTok, even like from my YouTube videos, which I have a YouTube channel, but like I don't do anything on it. I have like few videos on it, but like people just see you in different places. And about half of the work I get pretty much from the referrals. So people already know what I'm doing, so they kind of have the idea. But obviously, when I talk to my potential clients, I explain all the packages that I have, like everything that I do, like how the entire process is going to look like. And obviously, I want to make sure the process is as like headache free for them as possible, because like I know how it is to plan a wedding, to like you have like million things, like you have to reach out to so many suppliers, do so many things, like the timing, all of this is just a lot. So I just say, like, I'd really have one consultation with my clients. So for example, someone would book me 1 year in advance.
Yeah.
And then I would say, okay, so your date is reserved. And then, we'll be in touch about 1 month before your wedding to discuss like the timing, like what the moments that you would like to have painted. And then that's when, we have either like a phone or video consultation, and then they would basically know everything. But our chats are literally like few minutes, because the process is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And I feel like I feel like because of what I present, all the work that I honestly present on my social media, people also, like the people that reach out to me, they know what they can expect. They know they can trust me because I know, but because perhaps of the way I present my work to them, perhaps of the way I talk to them. Like, I don't know, there might be like so many different factors, but often even, have clients tell me like, oh, I just really want a live wedding painting. Like, I saw your work, but can you please advise me on the moment that like you think would be good in my wedding to capture? So I feel like that there is that element of trust a lot of the times, which I really appreciate. But also a lot of clients, they choose themselves the moment they would like to have captured.
Like depicted.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most challenging part of running a business? What do you find the greatest challenge?
I feel like it would be just like a general I feel like it would be just a general discipline and sort of constant work on like myself as a human being, because like I realize, and I have this in my mind all the time, behind every business, like behind every service, there's a person. So we all come with a very personal story. At the end of the day, we try our best to provide a professional, like the best service possible, like the best service possible, but we have our own personal stories. So the person that you are, I feel like in business matters a lot. So I feel like the biggest challenge, but also it's just a fact of life, I feel like, is to work on yourself and to become a better, because then you are like, I will become a better communicator, I will become like more understanding, I will be I will learn how to, for example, establish my boundaries like in a better way. I would be just more understanding to my clients and more willing to understand their needs, and the fact that sometimes what I need or what I think it's right, it's not necessarily right for them. So really open to communication, to seeing someone else's point of view, and so many different things, like just things like that. I feel like they make a good business when you just become a better human being from the inside, and you just develop yourself.
I mean, obviously being a woman in business is hard enough, and then you have children as well. You got a little boy. How does that fit round? Because it is a juggle. I know. I've been there. How do you do it?
It's not easy, like you said. And since my son was born, I had to give up a lot of the time that I used to put in for work, obviously giving that time to my son. I'm really, I try my best to be as conscious as I can raising him as well. So I have like so many things on a daily basis that I really pay attention to, like no screen time, like I really pay attention to what I eat, like what I give him, like how I nourish him, what energy he's around, whether it be like people or like just stuff like that. Like I try to think what's best for him, for his future, and I really try not to cut the corners and sort of show my weakness. I mean, I'm also a human being. I go through hard times, and I have my own emotions. But because I have my son, a person that was not asked to be in this world, person that I brought to this world, like I feel a sense of responsibility for that, for that human being. So it's not hard. And obviously for the past 1.5, 2 years, I had to cut down my work a lot. And I have to be fair, like, it was that, the last 2 years, they were quite hard, because I was still, when I was pregnant, I was working until I think like 3 or 4 weeks before my due date. So I was like going between different cities, like traveling and painting weddings. And then obviously I gave birth, and then, I had to.
I saw that because I saw a picture on your website of you with your bump.
Oh yeah.
And you're there painting a live wedding. I thought, wow, look at her go. That's an amazing achievement, to think that you are a woman in business. You've grown your passion. And you're a mum, and a working mum. And I know how hard that is to juggle. But do is there anything about this industry of like doing art that you think people totally misunderstand?
I feel like when it comes to live wedding painting or wedding painting in general, no, but I feel like it's more related to live wedding painting because it's done, I do also do wedding painting in my studio. So someone could send me a photo and I could just paint their event or wedding or portrait or whatever. But live wedding painting, obviously, it becomes sort of not only this physical painting, but also a part of it's like a performance in the way. So, I have to, I talk to the guests. I have to, I try my best to look nice, to be like, I have to give out like positive energy because it's someone else's big day, important day, and we're all here to celebrate those people. So, so I feel like the fact that there's a lot of pressure that comes when I paint live, I feel like is the I'm not sure if it's misunderstood, but it's definitely undervalued and perhaps not seen by the clients, which is totally fine because how can the painting process. But it's I feel like it's the hardest thing to especially for someone like myself that established business by myself. I do everything by myself unless I sort of give away like some sort of editing or like jobs to someone else. But yeah, it's that pressure because I do want to deliver the best work to my clients. Like I work very hard to on my social media, on myself, to get those bookings and to provide the best work that I can to my clients so that they're happy, they can refer me.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because you're actually having to wear a lot of hats. You're not just doing your art, you're having to do the finances, you're having to do all the scheduling and everything else, all the social media. It can be quite overwhelming. Is there anything that where you feel, oh, I can't sleep at night because that just like troubles me? Is there anything?
I try to stay calm and because I raise my son full time, and I always tell to myself that I always have to stay strong and calm for him. And I always try to sort of find if I have a very hard moment, whether it's personally or professionally, I try to find healthy ways to let those negative emotions out, like exercise, meditation, music, like stuff like that, just to stay very calm and like and collected.
Would you say then that's just making sure that you have a good work-life balance?
Yeah.
Because that's important, I always feel. And it's like, I know I can get my head into work and then I suddenly look at the clock and think, my goodness, where's the day gone? Where's the night going half the time, Krystyna? And you just think, gosh, it's good to have your own interests and things as well, isn't it?
Yeah, no. I mean, for sure. Like, luckily, what I'm interested in. So, the painting, it became my business. So obviously, it's that's something that I feel like will always grow, and I will always sort of develop my skills eventually, like as the years go by, because I still have like a lot of bookings, so eventually like I still just like I grow my skills like every like day by day. But the balance, I feel like, is very important, like from my point of view, because I have my son right now until his age of about 3. I really want to just give him more of my time, of my attention, because I do realize that this initial time when he grows is the most important for him. I feel it's about like 80 or 85% of the brain cells are created in the first 3 years of their life. So like every time I spend with him, like, it's very crucial for him, for his future life, attachments, relationships, and stuff like that. But I'm really content with the work that I do right now. I'm really happy. I understand that there's time for everything. And right now my priority is, to be fair, my son, my family. And I also understand that my work is still flowing. Like, it's escalating, perhaps not as fast as it could. But I know that once, my son gets a little bit older, I'm going to have more time to grow. So I'm not trying to rush anything. I know that this is for life. Like, I will always be able to do something with art, create more projects. Like, I'm just confident with that. Yeah.
I mean, obviously art was a love, and it's something you loved doing, and then you've moved it to a business. Have you still got that same love when you pick up those paintbrushes, or do you do other different types of art to sort of channel away from maybe the work side a bit more to
Yeah.
go into like, just your own love of something?
Yeah, that's hard. And pretty much these days impossible, to be fair, to do that, because obviously I have my family, my personal things to manage, and I have work, and I have clients that rely on me, and I have other orders, even if it's not life wedding painting, like I said, it's painting from a studio, or so many, like obviously creating social media, like you said, there's so many things that I need to juggle. It's at this point in time, it's impossible for me to just focus just on myself, to do something, for just for myself.
Just for yourself.
Yeah, just for myself. Yeah. So yeah, but actually, when I paint in my studio, regardless, for my clients, it is a sort of a therapy for me. Like I just, I will find, I will find, like a person that I can leave my son with, that I can stay with my son, whether it's him taking to the park or him staying in my apartment, just as long as I can go to my studio and have those few hours for myself to complete the work. It is a therapy for me as well.
And when you're in that studio, it's like, I know when I do my writing, I almost go into like another world. It's Emily world. It's a crazy place up there. Do you like go into like another different realm of like, you're just in the zone?
Yeah. I guess you can say that, like I'm in the zone of painting, because it is a process, and the way I paint, I always sort of try to bring out sort of the character of the person that I paint through the painting. It's a different sort of level, it's a different challenge. So there's like a very kind of deeper painting process, or like process in general, that goes into painting. So yeah, it is a process for sure. Yeah.
Do you think that helps them with getting to know like the bride and groom, or whoever you're painting? You got to know them, you got to know their personality, and then that's then transferred into that little bit of sparkle that I can see in your artwork. I mean, I look at your artwork and I can almost sort of see character coming out of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously I do have consultation with the bride and groom beforehand, but like I said before, our chats are not that long. It's not it's not like I know them for a long time. The people that I work with, I wish I could. It's just no one really has a time for it. Like I don't have much time for it. They probably don't have.
They don't. Yeah.
They're planning a wedding. They have so many things to juggle. But I also pick up a lot of things while I'm at the wedding. So, I look at the bride and groom while obviously I come in to the event, to wedding, before the event, usually before the event starts, 2 or 3 hours before. So I'll probably like say hi to the bride or groom, whoever's getting ready on site. And I have a chat then, and I can see the way someone behaves, like, and I can see like the character, like the sparkle, like the you can see good in anyone, like like the personality. So I try my best to present that in my work. Yeah. Based on, what I see on the day.
There'll be lots of little budding artists out there, maybe young teenagers watching this, looking for a career perspective. What piece of advice would you give them if they were really into art and they were a little bit nervous about maybe going into it as a business? What advice would you give them?
I would say just keep going. Just keep trying. Like, don't give up. If you feel like it's really what you want to do, just keep trying. Even if you're studying, like I was studying full time, I was having part-time job as well in sales, to like back in the days, right, to obviously to pay the rent and stuff like that. But I kept going. Like I was still like painting. I was still like, doing, even if it wasn't perfect. Like I wasn't, like, I feel like the level of my portraits is pretty good right now.
Oh yeah, they are.
but let me tell you something. I am coming from architectural background, so that wasn't something that I learned from the beginning. This is something that I had to learn with time and with experience. So I was really good with like architectural building drawing, interior design, like scale, like perspective shading and stuff like that. But like my first portraits, I wouldn't say they were like the best if I would look at them like right now. So it's just realizing, I feel like, that you can do anything. Obviously, valuing your work depending on the outcome that you will obviously give to the person as a service. But we all grow. I feel like I feel like it's quite common. Like, you just have to start. It's not going to be perfect. If you mess up, okay, I messed up. I'm also a human being. Like, take responsibility that you messed up. Like, it happens. But it's just about growing, like, and keep going.
I think this is like saying to youngsters, you know, take those little bits of critique and use them to arm yourself.
For sure, like, for sure, because, you know, like, it's like, we all make mistakes. Like, we all make mistakes. Like, no one's perfect. No one was born with, like, I wasn't born painting like this. Like, I had to go through so many challenges, through critique as well, and through just a lot of discipline, which I feel like, looking at, well, I have a younger brother as well, but he's quite disciplined. He has his moments, but, you know, like, so many.
It's a younger brother. It's accepted.
Yeah. Well, I guess it is. But, you know, so many, like, young people, I can see the tendency of sort of wanting that sort of easy, free income, like opening business, so in such an easy way. So it's like, I agree, you have to work hard and smart, but you also, you have to work hard. It's not about you know, everyone, like, people will tell me, like, teenagers, oh, I just have to work smart, like, I'm gonna do something on TikTok, like this and that. No, like, when you do something in social media, sometimes it doesn't bring you income for years. So you need to have discipline to post every day, like, to go and research, like, what's good, like, what's, like, actually put work into it. Like, nothing comes, you know, like, for free in this life. It's all the experience that you gain from the past.
If you could give I mean, you are young. This seems like a really silly question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you could give your younger self a piece of advice, if you're looking at real little Krystyna now, what would you say to her?
I would probably tell myself to be more confident, and not to let anyone sort of put you down, and not to sort of, you know, it's good to listen to someone else's opinion, but again, that really depends on your personality. Some people are really easily influenced, some are not easily influenced. But I feel like, you know, I've met people in my life that, you know, perhaps whether they did that, you know, intentionally or not, they advised me, well, they gave me good advice, and sort of I listened to them, and then it didn't work out well. And because I trusted those people, you know, so much, it didn't work out well for me. And really, I really just should have trusted myself.
Yeah. And that is an important thing, but you have done absolutely amazing. I'm blown away with what you do. And even seeing it now in the flesh, it's like, wow, the detail, the absolute detail that you take every little bit. But I'm now going to go into detail with you with my quick fire questions. Oh yes, we have to have these. Who is your favorite artist?
Okay, so that's a little bit of that's quite difficult for me, because again, I never really had someone since I was young that I would be like, oh, like, I really love this celebrity, or like, I really love this, like, this person, like, crazy about someone. Like, again, I feel like the people that I would look up to the most were my parents, and my mom especially, because not only because I love her, because she's my mom, I love her so much, right? But aside of that, of those emotions, I can see her, you know, conscious work and the way she goes through life, and I took a lot from that. And yeah, so I don't know, like, I don't really have like someone that I would just like follow. Like, I would always look for someone that I can follow, or that I can get advice from in specific area that I'm interested in. So
it could be an artist then, not actually of an artist realm. Artist of what they do is their talent. Interesting. What is your favorite art equipment to work with? You know, are you an oils? Are you watercolor? I think I know this one, but
well, so like, you can see from my work, I do love oil painting. Okay, I mean, acrylic painting as well. They have, you know, sort of different, I mean, the outcome is quite different when you paint with oil and acrylic paint. But I feel like with painting, because, you know, it's not a digital art, it's not something that you print, it's something that I put my energy in. into I love the texture of the paint, the oil, whether it's oil or acrylic. I love to be able to touch the painting and see that there's like bumps on the painting and that there's actual paint and the energy that went into the painting. So yeah, just oil paints.
Now, if there's any famous person that you could paint, who would it be?
Any famous person? Well, I've never really thought of that, but maybe it would be like I don't like I said, like I don't have any specific person. Like I don't just look up into one person for everything. I don't know. It could be maybe someone from a royal family. Let's say, right?
If you got that call saying, Krystyna, King Charles or Queen Camilla, they need you at the palace to do a portrait. You'd jump it, would you?
Of course. Like I would not hesitate. I would definitely like come and do it and make sure like I do the best job. Like with everything, whether it's, a king or whether it's, my family member or like any of my clients, like I try my best to obviously.
I think they're missing a trick. I think they actually really need you in Buckingham Palace. I'll petition that for you, Krystyna. Well, it's been an absolute delight. You are truly a lovely human being, as much as a fantastic artist. Now, if you want to find out more about Krystyna and her amazing art, because don't forget, she doesn't just do the live painting. You can give her a photograph of your event and she can turn it as if she was just sat there painting it for you. We'll put all the details on the screen and also in the bio below. Krystyna, I am watching this space. You are going to go far. You are going to go far. And much love to you and your family. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much.